doing very well. And I think that, yes, she had a rough part, and a lot of kids do go through that. As I said, you won't believe the things I've heard in my basement about this.
Is a caller live? All right, caller. So please tell us where you're calling from, and tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Ihanya, Rehema's dad.
Okay. And Rehema's dad, where are you calling us from today?
I'm calling from
dads
Baltimore
allowed,
County.
man. No dads allowed.
Okay. Rehema's dad, talk to us. You've been listening to the conversation. Was there any aha moment? Are these conversations that Rehema's already had with you before, or is there any aha moment that you got in this exchange that we've had here, and you're like, oh my goodness, I did not know that?
Or are you gonna tell her not to come back home?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an eye opener. I have experienced this with a kid and other children who come to my house. They come and talk to me. Both from my daughter, my son's side more. My son's friends have talked to me about this a lot, and I guess they feel like I'm easy to talk to, which is amazing because I thought I was hard. So I can only imagine how their parents are. Based on what Rehema said, you'd think I'm hard to talk to, but the kids that come to talk to me say worse things, and they think I'm easy to talk to. So it's a big problem when it comes to the difference between our culture and their culture here. But I wanted to say that I think that one of the disadvantages with their generation is they were the first kids to be born, I believe, like in the year 2000, 2001. And it's getting better because, like, for example, when I look at my daughter who is 8, I think they had it harder because of how the situation was. Young parents. There were not many people here. We were young. We were also learning. We were parents and we were learning at the same time. So it was both.
Okay.
But for someone like me now with an 8-year-old, 20 years after, is a completely different world. So I think that was one of the disadvantages, and also the exposure. If you look at the world today, social media, where the world is compared to 2000, is a completely different world.
Okay, so Babahanya, one thing I'll tell you, knowing, like your two oldest kids, you guys have done an amazing job. I know sometimes, there's certain things that you're learning on the job, but I'm gonna ask Rehema real quick, is there maybe something that you'd like to ask Dad on air that maybe you've not asked him before, and this is a nice safe forum where you could maybe
This is that safe space you're looking for when you're younger.
This is that space that
go for it, girl. Go for it.
13-year-old Rehema say to your dad?
13-year-old Rehema. Wow.
Yes. Don't be scared.
No, I'm just thinking, I think,
Get closer to the mic.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. I think my main take, now that I'm 19, right? Most of these things I've figured out, but for Zoe, for my little sister, I think you both should emphasize more on asking her things about what she's experiencing in school before she has to come to you. And obviously she's little, so it hasn't really started yet. Well, actually, that's not true. It's gonna start soon. Hey. But she's
what grade is she in?
She's now in 3rd grade.
3rd grade, okay.
So she don't.
Oh,
yeah. So Dad,
she already told you have a funny name.
Yeah. So. Zoe has already Dad. I want to tell you something. Zoe has already been coming to me about some funny stuff happening in school, right? And I don't know if she came to you and Mom about it. And that's where it starts, right?
Okay, Dad.
She should be coming to you guys.
Okay.
So I want you guys to just
she
think
been
about
doing that.
Say it again.
Yeah, she's been doing that.
She's coming to you guys. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
That means it's changing of time. So hey,
Okay.
that's good. But yeah, just ask about it, And that's it. Because, like, for me, like, I would really just keep things to myself. Not because I wasn't comfortable speaking to you guys, but it wasn't, like, an open... I didn't have the kind of, like, comfortability to be, like, that vulnerable at that time. I feel like now, as I'm older, I have way more of a comfortability to come to you guys about things. Like, I literally was just complaining about something to you last week. Like, I'm way older now, so it's, like, different. But as a kid, it wasn't there. So for Zoe, I want her to like feel more comfortable to just be upset, to just cry, to just come to you guys about whatever's going on at school, to just, you know, personal things.
Okay, all right, and
Wow.
and Baba Rehema, before you go, there's another thing, you know, like I want Rehema to bring up, because I think we had a discussion about this. You, of course, have an older brother. Did you feel, you know, like growing up, there might have been different ways in which maybe your brother was treated from the way you were treated, based on, you know, you being a girl and him being a boy? Or did I put you on the spot?
You did.
Okay. All right. All right.
Well, yeah. Like, okay, me and my brother were 3 years apart, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the same age group, but he's still the oldest. So there's definitely some things that there was, you know, a bit of a difference, because growing up, he was my like older brother, right? Like my best friend in the house, but he was also like that sneak third parent. You know what I mean? Like,
in case you do anything silly.
yeah,
Interesting.
like, oh, you got in trouble? Oh, why wasn't your brother there? Like, what were you guys doing? You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the main thing would be like how our age difference was treated very drastically when it really was not that drastic. Like now, I'm turning 20 in December, and he's 22. Like, we are not that far apart. We're less than 3 years apart even.
Yeah,
it's 2 years and some change.
Yeah.
So it's like, as a kid, like I was genuinely like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get in trouble by 3 people. You know what I mean? But like, it's not that. It was never that serious. It was never that serious. So I feel like that's just one major thing. Obviously, it's different now because we're both adults, but like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Baba Rehema, you know, like one last thing that you want to tell Rehema before we let you go.
Before you change the locks.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I have to say, you know, Rehema has made me proud. She's a very
Shishaways.
opinionated, as you can see, she's a very opinionated woman.
Which is good.
And she did very well. And I think that, yes, she had a rough part, and a lot of kids do go through that. As I said, you won't believe the things I've heard in my basement about this from boys. But I guess some of as the other guy was saying, some kids don't come out of it, and it shows when they are older. Some kids are able to come out of it based on how what the parents do when they are like 16, 17.
Okay.
I think it's very important to know when kids get bullied and you find out what measures do you take after that. Some parents just brush it off. Some parents, you know, they work with a kid. You see some kids as having a hard time as adults.
Okay.
You know, 19, 20-year-olds. And that's very important for me, that, yes, the kids get bullied. I've heard about it. I know it. But what do you do when you find out your child was bullied?
Yes.
Now, because it's already passed.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You know, these things will happen no matter what. I just told you my daughter was told she have a funny name in school. She is 8. So she's already experiencing it.
Oh,
So
wow.
we as parents need to know, okay, our kids will get bullied. What do we do about it after? If we don't catch it on time.
You know, and I think Lawrence has said something that's very interesting, and I think we should sort of pounce on that. You know, he's talked about the things that he has had in his basement. So you can say that he's an outlet for some kids. We have to set up ourselves to our kids to be outlets, even if it's not your mother, or if it's not if it's not your father. Parents, you can tell your children, listen, if you I know you don't want to talk about this or you want to talk about that, you know, but if you do, call Ali, call Omosh,
Yeah.
call and talk. If you're a guy, if you're a lady, call Auntie so and so.
Yeah.
Rehema.
Because, okay, there's some things that, like, you just don't want to talk to with your you don't want to talk about with your parents.
Absolutely,
and it's
yeah.
not, like,
Absolutely.
It's not like I don't trust you. It's just like I'd rather not. And at least for me, I'm very thankful that like I can talk to my parents about most things at this age. Like, I mean, our relationship is like very open forum nowadays, but I think like for a lot of people, the support system is very, very, very needed. Like the village we were talking about, and talking to other adults and confiding in other adults and knowing that it'll stay there unless it's something that is like absolutely they need to tell your parents about.
Yeah.
That's like something that a lot of African communities need to emphasize more.
Okay.
Because then it'll just get bottled up, it'll go nowhere, it'll be internalized, and then now we're in our adulthood with things we never fully, digested.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Baba Rehema, asante sana. And
right.
next we are gonna be putting you on this seat.
Thank you,
Where
Dad.
Rehema.
Thank you,
It's
Dad.
weird that we've been trying to put you here, but Rehema
beat you to it.
beat you to it, came here before. So that's a conversation we'll have on the side.
Hiyo ni ya nyuma ya tent.